to teach meditation in the prison in Brazil. The room is about this big, but there were only about 50 prisoners, handcuffed, walking one by one. So, you know what the first question they asked me? What are you? They didn't ask who I am, they asked what I am. Because this looked totally foreign to them. They have never seen someone dressing like this without hair before in their life, the first time. So they said, I told them I'm a Buddhist monk. They have no clue what's going on. And then they told them that as a Buddhist monk, the first thing I'm not come here to teach you Kung Fu because I'm not Shaolin monk in China. And they were very disappointed. So, you see that this is we live in a Buddhist country. I was born in Thailand. So I know that we are very familiar with it. But there are people in the different countries, different parts of the world, they don't even know what it's like. They have literally a bit of here, seen things in the movie, that's the only thing they understand. So that means, right now, since the Buddha has given us a mission to spread out the Chinese knowledge of Buddhism, of course, we have to know not just the Buddha's Dhamma, but also to know what they learn, what they think, what they are constantly about. But believe me, and this I can say frankly, nothing's better than Buddha's Dhamma. No matter you can learn about modern management, human resources, accounting, everything's already exists in the Buddhist text. Only if you use it just enough. I have a friend who is a Christian priest. He came to the temple and practiced meditation. He said to me once, and I use it until today. He said, never feed pork chop to a baby. Anybody, what is the famous dish? Let's say grilled chicken. Do you like fried chicken? Yes. Does it taste good? Does that fried chicken taste good? Does it? Yes. But if you are 6 months old, can you eat fried chicken? If you're 6 months old, can you eat fried chicken? 6 months? Can you? Not really, because you don't even have teeth to chew, right? That's the point. It doesn't matter how good the food is, how tasty it is. If they can't chew it, it means nothing. The same way Buddha's Dhamma. You got everything from Vinaya Sutras to Abhidhamma. All of them from easiest to the most complicated. But if we choose the complicated one to talk about first, it's good, but they can't take it. It's too much. It's like you try to force fried chicken or a piece of steak to a baby. They can't chew it. If they can't chew it, they can't swallow. If they can't swallow, it can't digest. It can't digest, it can't be part of the body. So what's the point of giving something too difficult? So that's why my point is that the important thing we have to know both well. Right now in Myanmar is gonna be big different in the next 15 years. And I said to your master already about that in the next 15 years, you wouldn't recognize your country. Why? Because right now, a lot of foreign investments from Western countries, from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, are pouring into this country. And it's gonna grow fast. Wherever the economy is growing, morality is going down. Do you know that our international branches in Europe, in America, what kind of property that we buy? Can you guess? What kind of property that we love to buy? Because it's easy. The easiest thing to buy right now in Europe and America is a Christian church. Yes, we buy the church and turn it into a Buddhist temple. Easiest thing to buy because they are on sale at cheap price. The Christian priests cannot run the church anymore. They don't have enough money to pay the tax. So that's why they have to sell it out. We have 101 centers. About 80 of them were church. When you buy the church, you get the license. In Western country, you cannot just build temple anywhere. You have to build, you have to have a temple with license to conduct religious activities, with enough space to gather people. They already got all that. So that's why we get the properties and get the license as well. It's the easiest thing to buy. That's not happening in Europe and America. You may see is that how the Christianity is coming to Myanmar, try to give money to the poor people, offering educations and different things to the people to give incentive. They are losing popularity out there. I just came back from Brazil a week ago. Brazil is a Catholic country. I have sessions in Sao Paulo, which is the biggest city in Latin America. There were about this much of people learning meditation. There was one session that I went into Argentina, which is also a Catholic country in Latin America. It was the sessions that have to be sold with tickets. They have people buy tickets to come and listen to me. There were 600 seats sold out. That's how much people really wanted to know. Even though they grew up as Christian, they really want to learn about Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist understanding, Buddhist text. But just the way to break it down for them to understand. So that's why your job, your part as a Buddhist monk is really important for this country and for the world. Especially that Myanmar is going to a big change in the next 15 years in the way that you wouldn't remember. Mark my word, next 15 years you'll think about this. Thailand wasn't your shoes 35 years ago. When you are under the military government, when Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam were under communist rule, Thailand was the first country that Japan came to do investment. Until Thailand became the investment hub manufacturing for all business of Japan. Our economy grew very fast. In that time, we developed everything within the period of 5 years, accounted for 20 years. You know what happened to today? If you ask the Westerner, why would they come to Bangkok? You know why? Prostitution. Thailand has 95% of population calling themselves a Buddhist. Thailand is also the 5th highest alcohol consumption in the world for a Buddhist country. I don't think they remember Surani about the Thailand anymore. Thailand is number 1 in Asia in something called teen pregnancy. You know what teen pregnancy is? Teen pregnancy is girl in school who got pregnant. That's called teen pregnancy. And Thailand is number 1 for that. I'm saying this because it's happening when economic is on the rise. There will be a lot of things coming on TV, and these days coming on mobile phones. There were too much for people to take it. So if they will vaccinate, if they were prepared, if they were told what is the right way, what is a good way, they will try to be American, try to be European, try to be Japanese, but they forget what is Burmese values, what is Buddhist value, what is morals. Because everybody wants to be famous, everybody wants to be rich, right? And that goes against everything that we taught. And it makes life more comfortable. A lot of you may know that in Thailand, we had a lot of Myanmar coming to work for our film in Thailand, right? You know that. Do you know why? It's not because the labor cost is cheaper. We can employ Thai people the same cost, but there are jobs that even they have a factory and have job opening, Thai people won't apply They don't. Too much hard work. They become lazy. That's what's going on. Why that we employing Burmese, Laos, and Cambodian to work in our factory? Our unemployment rate is still 7%. People with no jobs, 7%. But with the jobs opening, no. I don't want to do that. That's when people get comfortable. And when the economy is growing fast, this is going to happen. The separations, the differences between the rich and the poor will be wider. So that is why your job is important. Prevention is better than cure. Right now in my country, what we have to do is to go back and try to ingrain the knowledge, try to bring back the old morality, which is very difficult because habit that people ask for it change. But to prevent it from happening is easier. So do it now, before it's too late. And I'm not kidding. You can see other countries around. It's the same. Japan. You probably think of Japan as a country without the Buddhists, right? Japanese people doesn't have religion in general. They grow up with Buddhist ceremonies, get married in Christian church, and have a funeral in the Shinto shrine. Nothing Buddhist about it. Half the population in Korea today is Catholic. Korean Christian missionary is one of the most aggressive in the world. If you go into Seoul, the capital city of Korea, and you're standing in the middle of the city, look around, you will count at least 10 crosses on the roof. 0 Buddhist symbol. That's South Korea. And it comes with media. What is the most famous TV show in Myanmar right now? When people watch TV, what did they watch? Korean drama. What kind of music they want to listen to? Korean pop star. What kind of makeup they want to wear? Korean cosmetic. What kind of religions they would want to follow them? They want to be Korean, remember? That's why it's important to make really and understand what is good, what is right, but make it practical. My master said once, there are 2 ways to propagate Dharma. Number 1, like you study right now. Very in-depth, very knowledgeable, know everything from Vinaya all the way to Abhidhamma, until you can even recite the verses, which is good. But the second thing is to make it practical for people who don't have time, but can do it immediately, get the benefit right now from it. Why? Because one thing, when the economy is growing, people's lifestyle will change. It changed from something called agricultural into urbanized. In agricultural society, when people still do farming, one thing that people know is they know how to wait. Doesn't matter how you want things to go fast, you have to wait for winter, summer, rainy season, you have to wait for crops to grow, right? People take it slow. In Yangon today, you're starting to see people who can't wait fast. Get it now. They want to do something and get it done immediately because people's lifestyle changed from taking time to do something then Monday to Friday, everything is rushed. They already spend about 2 hours on the road. How much time does they have at home? They spend another 8 hours in the office. They don't have time. They don't have the time that we have. We give them this book of Abhidhamma, it will be in the shelf. Right? So what kind of thing they can take immediately and benefit as a member? How can you make a good father, Buddhist mother, Buddhist children? What they should look like. That's the key. From the time a person get up to the time they go to sleep, what is the Buddhist life cycle? Break it down like that. Make it practical. Because Buddhism is not about what's said in the text, but it's how it's practiced in daily life. And if you know how to apply that for the Burmese, you know how to apply that in your life. So that is the key. You are very knowledgeable. My master said all the time that in Myanmar, you excel Thailand in Tipitaka, in the meditation practice. You have a lot of good resources. All you need to know is how to adapt it in a way that will be compatible with modern lifestyle that is changing fast. But, a big but, without becoming like them. Don't turn into their side. Anybody here know Harvard University in America? Do you know Harvard University?
Yes.
You don't know, right? Second question. Do you know how Harvard started? How did it start? Do you know that Harvard University was a seminary school? You know what seminary school is? Seminary school is school for priests that train people to be Christian priests. The most important faculty in Harvard is Faculty of Theology, which is about Christianity. You don't have a clue. Same as a lot of people around the world, they don't have a clue. Because nowadays, when people talk about Harvard, nobody thinks about theology. Nobody thinks about Christianity. They think about medicines, laws, business administration, psychology, political science, economics. Nobody thinks about going to Faculty of Theology as it started. That's when people care for this modern knowledge more than the essence of this religious practice. It's happening in Harvard. It can happen to any other places as well. So make sure that when you go into study this modern knowledge, remember, always find reference in Buddhist text. Always find different reference in Buddha's Dhamma because that's the best. Don't become like Harvard. Because nowadays, if you want to enter Harvard into the School of Theology, it's very easy. It's harder to go into the Faculty of Law. So that is what I'd like to leave with you. In my temple, we don't teach people so much. We have an area of 1,000 acres. Our big event, we can have about 300,000 to 400,000 people coming together. But this is not because we teach Abhidhamma or something very hard, something very simple. Until this day, we break it down to something called universal goodness, fastings. Train people fastings. Keep things clean, keep things tidy, be polite, be punctual, be on time, and meditations. Body and mind. Sila, samadhi. All these simple things. Because when you talk about sila, broad concept to basics. Keep things clean, keep things tidy, understand. And that's how we train people, and that's how people grow. My temple, starting only 47 years ago, empty piece of land, with only one monk, and 10 people. The money that we started is only about $100. The man that built my temple could not read and write. He was illiterate. The only thing that she knew is meditations. And these are only 5 things that she kept teaching us. Clean, tidy, polite, punctual meditations. And encourage people to keep practicing. That's it. That's how my temple grew. Zero help from government. On the other hand, when we tried to help the country, the government attacked us. It was there. The government was worried that my temple influenced politically, but that's the other issues. So, make it simple like that. You know your culture better than I do. practical is the key. On your part, just go all the way as you study, as deep as you can, as high as you can. When you break it down to people, make it as simple as you can, make it as easy as practical as you can. Different way. I know a lot of people who speak, a lot of good speakers who speak difficult things. You probably have heard that before, right? Teachers who speak difficult things, very hard to understand. Even if you don't understand when they talk about it, right? Have you ever had that? Then what's the point? You don't understand anything a person was saying. You spend 2 hours, and what's the point? So I'm supposed to say hard things for me to look good, or supposed to say simple things for everybody to benefit from it? Which one? That's the point. How you can break it so easy. Because that's exactly what the Buddha did. When Buddha taught to the farmers, to the merchants, to the Brahmin, to the king, he didn't teach in the same way. He break into different level of people. That's what we need to do. When Buddha gave teachings, he break it down to very practical. Do this. Singalota Sutra. Go back. Stop Kamakilesa. Stop Akati. Stop Abhayamukha. And your life will change. They make it practical. The same things what you have to do. Make it practical. I really love this country. Ever since the first time I came here, I see how rich Buddhism is in this country. And I have visited the country a lot around the world. I've been to Indonesia. It used to be a Buddhist country. Nowadays, less than 1% is Buddhist. India, you know India very well. India was the place where the Buddha chose to enlighten. Just imagine 2,600 years ago, how many arahants will be walking in the land of India. Today, 1%. It's not because of the threat from the outside. It's because people is lacking in the practice of the Dhamma from the inside. Nowadays, when I go to the West, I see a lot of people interested keeping Buddha statues at home, reading Buddhist text more and more. Which means that is the real thing. People are interested in it. But most of the time they come to me and say, I have great books, but I have no guidance. I don't know whether what I practice is right or wrong. And I alone cannot do so much. It's your job. And since this country have very rich Buddhist culture, Buddhist knowledge, you have a lot of good master. You are very, very blessed, very fortunate. So don't forget that it's your turn to bring that fortune back to the world. Start from people here. Prepare the people for what is coming. Thank you. But if they have any questions?
Yeah, any question?
Oh, sorry. If you have any questions, anything at all.
Yeah, maybe not maybe. Don't do that.
Cha đi bạn, trái đấy hầm mấy đồ giàu này. Trái đấy hầm mấy.
Let me put it this way.
Mấy giờ lấy nhiêu thằng?
I just, in the middle of this year, I conduct meditation retreat in a country called Georgia. The participants were Muslim ladies. It's a retreat for Muslim ladies from Middle Eastern countries.
Nên là mê với lại Ashi đó.
And by the way, when you hear me speaking English, I wasn't born in the US. I was born and raised in Thailand. I studied English by myself in Thailand. I never studied abroad. Sorry? Sorry, you say? No, if you ask, just raise your hand and ask the question. It's fine.
ဘယ်လိုလဲညတော့
Don't be shy. So, maybe you're not confident about English.
ကဲ
My point is that I want to tell you that some of you may not be so, you may feel insecure about your English. But it doesn't mean that you have to go to America or England in order to study. You can stay here and study. Because I didn't go there to study. I studied in Thailand. As long as you invest enough effort and time, you can make it. I speak about this by studying in Thailand. Possible.
ကဲခက်ထောမေးပေးလေပါမေးမလဲခက်ထောပါမေးမလဲမေးလေကို question တကူဟောပါမေး
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Also, pardon me if I make some mistake and may understand. I only understand one word. What he said. Nothing is better than Buddha and Dhamma. He said,
Sorry?
nothing is better than Buddha and Dhamma. Why did not Sangha include? Sangha is also important like Buddha and Dhamma. Because without Sangha, nobody can consult and protect Buddha and Dhamma. That's why I would like to know why did not Sangha?
Very good. You're right. I said that nothing is better than Buddha's Dhamma because in terms of knowledge, Buddha Dhamma is what explains the nature. But like I said too at the end, that a lot of people don't have guidance. And that's why the Sangha, your job, is an important person to point to the right directions. But then you have to make it in a way that appealing enough for them to listen and to follow. So that's why it's the role of Sangha, is to guide them into the path of this Dhamma, which in a way for them to be very important, even the Dhamma itself. But be careful. If you teach them right, you got punya. If you teach them wrong, all you got. So make sure you teach them right. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Dad.
ကဲနောက်တစ်ယောက်
My name is Marina. How do you protest in your country? How do you protest in your country south of area?
How do I protest?
How do you protect?
Protect
Protest.
country.
Yes, in your country.
Very good. Very good questions. You know that in Thailand we have a very serious situation in the southern part of Thailand. The four provinces of Thailand, the southern part, were Muslim. So for the last 15, 20 years, there have been a lot of conflict, a lot of violence. So for the last 11 years, we have been sending helps to the monks and teachers. One day, there were a group of Buddhist teachers came to my master and complained about the situation. My master asked them, if all Muslims get out of the area, will the killing stop? The teacher said no. If all the Buddhists leave the area, will the killing stop? The healer said no to. So he concluded, amongst Muslim and Buddhist, there are two groups of the Muslim. The one who are good person, practice. Not of them all bad people, of course. And the other one who don't practice, extremists. The same as Buddhists. Some groups go to offering foods, go to temples. The other groups only drinking. The bad guys of both religions are the ones who exploit and cause the conflict. So if you want to protect your countries, knock on every door, every family. What a good Buddhist father look like, Buddhist mother look like, Buddhist children look like. If you say the Buddha's Dhamma is the best, teaching of the Buddha make a person become noble. When you see a noble person walk in here, what they should be like. Because that is a person who can put Dhamma into their life and practice it. Not just memorize it. If you make that, you protect the country. And that's what we're trying to do. Organize different trainings. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. If you cannot keep things clean, you cannot keep Sila. Simple as that. If you cannot keep things clean, you don't have self-control. If you don't have self-control, no Sati, no Samadhi. Right? Coming from keeping toilet clean. So knock on every door and do that. That's what we do. We change the country by keeping toilet clean. Simple.
How we should do to improve our sasana is given an advice.
That would have to again. That's very good.
Thank you, sir.
That would have to go back. Where is Buddhism relies upon? Is Buddhism about Tipitaka? It's about temple. It's about text. It's about ceremony. When you talk about people becoming a Buddhist, what exactly it is? Like I said, in Thailand, 95% of the population call themselves Buddhist. They're still fifth highest drinker of alcohol in the world. Out of 95%, 70% will come to the temple once a year on their birthday. Pray to the Buddha, make me rich. Go home and do party all night long. By number, we consider as a very Buddhist country. By practice, it's terrible. If you want to talk about the promotion of Buddha Sasana, Sasana is of people calling themselves Buddhists, show up at the gathering, conduct rituals, but practice at home. If you have people like this, get in the morning each day, if you have not offering food to the monks, I will not have breakfast. If today I have not pledged the vow to keep the sila, I will not leave the house. Each night, if I have not meditate or do any chanting, I will not go to sleep. If you can make this like this to everyone, at least you can protect the sasana, because they put it into practice.
Good evening, brother. So may I ask one question? We have been here Muslim people replaced at the Department of Government. Is that right?
Yeah, that's that situation.
So, what's the situation of the what is the situation in Sasana, your country?
You're doing live video, that's very dangerous. Let's say that in my country, I wouldn't blame the religion in general. They put it this way. People has become more materialistic. So much in the last 50 years. So what happened is that people not practicing, but reading Buddhism. Reading text. And by reading and not practicing, by reading and not practicing, they believe they understand everything. And these are the people who criticize every monk. Oh, monk shouldn't do this, monk shouldn't do that. This is wrong for monk, this is wrong for monk. Until so much that I can't do anything. Everything is all wrong for them, in the eyes of them, because they don't need to practice, they read about it. Right now, with the information technology is growing up, people will have more access to that. And when people have been so much egotistic about their belief, so they don't need to protect Buddhism, because they don't think it's benefit them so much comparing to economics and materialistics. So when the minority, other religions are minority in Thailand, of course, as a minority, they have to get more rights, they ask for more rights. So they do everything step by step, based on asking the law to be legislated, asking for the government funding to be utilized for them. They're doing step by step. But it turns out, the Buddhist people in Thailand are fighting. Fighting so much until we don't propose any law for us. We wait for things to be given. That's why in Thailand we have Islamic Bank, but no Buddhist bank. So, may the Buddhist people united.
Yeah, thank you. Another question. So, I want to know your, what is the answers of your Dhammakaya and the process?
You want to know Dhammakaya
And process.
process?
Yes.
Process.
Process.
Process of what?
Process means plan.
Plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The process comes from vision. Everything starts with a vision. My master has a vision. He believes very simple. World peace through inner peace. He believes that everybody can meditate. And then people's mind become better, the world will just be better. So based on the visions, our plans derive from different groups. From going to the south where there's conflict between Buddhist and Muslim and try to promote the Buddhist practice, going to schools, conduct ethics tests for students, and we funded 6 million nationwide every year. Conducts mass ordination for 100,000 monks. We have the short-term monk group, so 100,000 monks every year. Going to different countries to try project like in Mandalay, where we have 20,000 monks in the Pada. In Gawai, in Bangladesh, next year I'm going to have 500 novice ordination in Bangladesh to take on field track. And another 1,000 novice ordination in Nepal. And meditation workshops, classes to many countries around the world that is not Buddhist and doesn't have to be taught in the Buddhist way, in Buddhist terminology. So my project alone already covered 144 countries worldwide. So that's it.
So thank you, sir.
Good evening, Venerable sir. May I introduce myself? My name is Venerable Pontinya, and now I'm still learning the second semester. I would like to ask one question. Nowadays, especially in our country. Most of Myanmar make renowned their holy life. These are very despised spiritual sadhana. So, please give me advice, how do you control them?
You mean people renounce their life?
Myanmar
Man.
มัน
Mac, Bacon.
ញឹមមកលោក
Monk. Ah, okay. Monk. Got it. Okay. Myanmar's monk renounce.
Renowned their holy life. And these are very despised future sadhana. So, please give me your advice, how do you control them?
Thank you. Very good question. And for the note though, I never thought that I would ever sing Kontanya very young, because usually Kontanya is very old. If you notice. Anyway, the problem you have is the same thing that we're having at yours. Nowadays, because the compulsory education in Thailand is increasing to 9th grade, which means by the time everybody, you can sit down, by the time they finish education will be 16. And it's very hard to become a novice. Which means nowadays we have less number of novice monks. And less number of people becoming a monk too. At the same time, they have more people like this, quit their robes. In Thailand, the highest Pali education is called Pali grade 9. So a lot of Pali grade 9, after they get the degrees, they study bachelor or PhD and renounce. Because they can find jobs somewhere else. My master concluded very simple. Do you remember why you chose to be a monk? Because as time goes by, you forget. And when you forget, there are many temptations coming along. And that temptation would want to take it away. So meaning that it has to be reinforced over and over again. The reason that my temple has increasing number of monks, because my master kept coming and reaffirmed that day by day, why are you here? Because if you don't tell yourself that, you forget. There are so many things to be interested on. Everything is on your mobile phone today to take your mind away, to make you forget. And life is easier out there. When you look at me, can you guess how old I am now?
45.
Oh, killing me. I'm 41. But I'm not like you. I wasn't a monk as from a novicehood. I became a monk as 28 years old. So which means I went to regular life. I know everything there is to know out there. I party a lot. I have many girlfriends. Not now, before. So that is why when I said this, life out there is just comfortable and temptation for a lot of you. When you see on the media, people telling you it's just so beautiful. But it's not that. It's not what it is at all. When I became a monk, within first week, I can say this. I have no been so silent, so peaceful in my life. Because the first thing that I felt is that I don't have to worry about anything now. And that's what I like. And that's why I continue. I wanted to be a monk only for 4 months, at the beginning. I didn't intend to stay this long. I worked in Thai Airways before I became a monk. I was a flight attendant. I traveled around the world. I look good. I have girlfriends. My life is perfect. But when I left that, I wanted to be a monk for 4 months, but from 4 months become 13 years. Because I keep reminding myself why am I here. So the same thing. There are a lot of temptation out there, I know, and barriers. In Thailand, it's the same. So if you don't keep reminding yourself why you're here, enhancing your practice, you forget. My master said simple, 3 things. fame, money, women. There are only three things that take you away, right?
Another question. I have there are many people in your monastery.
Many women?
People.
People.
How do you control them?
Thank you. Very good. It's because of the five beautiful goodness I was talking about was trained to people. Cleanliness, tidiness, politeness, punctuality, and meditations. Every ceremony that we conducted, there must be meditation practice in it, at least half an hour to 1 hour. Every ceremony, people sit quietly. That's number one. So people get used to being trained discipline. So it's automatically for them to follow instructions. Easy. When you go to the Makai temple, and I wanted you to attend our ceremony to see, people go quiet. They don't make noise. Number two, you don't need to hear people speaking blah, 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 all the time on the microphone. Our MC is very calm, speaking very gently, slowly, telling excited people that it's time to bow, to get up, and now is the exit time, next ceremony will be at this time. Everything will be peaceful, very calm. Number three, design planning beforehand. If you're going to have to mobilize this much of people, let's say in this room, when you go out there, do you remember where your shoes are? Do you remember where your shoes are right now? Do you think you can find them easily when you go out? All of you right now. This is only what? 200 people? My temple has 100,000. That's 100,000 pairs of shoes. If you don't design an area to keep them nicely, they will be lost. And imagine if you are people. I used to be people. I used to be great people. I'm coming to the temple, drive my car to the temple. I want to make punya, I want to offer food to monks today. I'm so happy. I get off my car. The first thing that I step on is dog poop. Dog poop, you know dog poop? Dog fascist. Dog poop. I get out of my car, the first thing I step on is dog poop. How would I feel? Would I want to go into the temple now? No. So we use the area to keep things neat and tidy and design the whole planning in advance. Every seat already been marked down for people to sit. With the volunteers to guide them to instruction, that's why we can sit in line. So that's what we do. We take a great deal of time and preparations to plan the ceremonies, from one to the next in every little details. So how we do it is this. We break it down to departments. Event organization department, construction department, audiovisual departments, international departments, youth training departments, volunteer affairs departments, photography departments. Everybody has their own function. I'm in charge of international affairs. So whenever we have an event, head of departments sit together. We run everything down one by one. Everyone has to know the same thing. And if, let's say, the photographers and me don't see eye to eyes, we just conclude among ourselves and explain to the groups so that everybody knows what's going on and carry on with their thoughts. So in this way, we can manage everything, even if it's 100,000. I know exactly my guests from 20 countries. How would they go? Where are their meals? Where should they sit? Where should be the parking spaces? Let me put it simple. If you have 10,000 people coming to your temple for a ceremony, that will be 10,000 poop. That will be 10,000 pee. You know pee urine? Shh. How much you can pee for one person, you know? About this much. 10,000 of this is pee. If you throw into the water, what's it going to be like? Smelly, the water is polluted. If you don't plan in advance, that's going to happen. And imagine if you have 2 toilets, but you have 3,000 people coming for 2 toilets. How long will be the line? Can you keep it clean? Not possible, right? That's why we take a great deal of time to plan. When people coming to the ceremonies, come to the temple, if they want to come for peace of mind, they must feel comfortable to write. If they step on dog poop, no toilet, can't find a seat, everything is crowded, are they going to be happy or peaceful? Yes, but not easy. Right? So take a great deal of time to do so. Time.
Thank you.
မင်္ဂလာပါဗျာ And USB English very well, we proud of you. I wanna ask you how we can learn English and other language. So please give us some tips and advice.
Thank you. Psychologically speaking, everybody, everyone can speak any languages on this planet. First thing, you have to make your mind like that. Because if somebody can speak one language, it means you can speak that too. Human brain, speak very science, human brain has certain part that to learn the language. But usually after 5 years old, it stops. That's why if you teach any language before 5, they can learn 6 languages at once. Normal. But doesn't mean it can't be done. It's just harder. So the only thing that you need in order to learn the language is not the same as you learn Pali. You don't learn grammar first. You learn how to use it first. As long as you surrounded yourself with the foreign languages, read more, listen more, then you can really study to understand. When I start really practicing myself 20-something years ago, there was a video tape, movie. The movie, I still remember, it was Terminator 2. So my father got this video tape for me with the subtitle in English underneath. So I watched it and repeat what they said. Everything they said on the screen, I repeat afterward. I watched the same movie about 50 times. Same movie over and over again, repeat until I remember every dialogue. Because if you can hear, you can say. If you can't hear, you can't say. That's why people who are deaf always mute. You see, deaf people can't speak. It's not because their organ is wrong, but because they can't hear. They don't know what sound to imitate. So if you can hear, you can speak. That's the logic. Which means that if you expose yourself in the same context over and over and over again until you can copy it, the moment you can copy it is the moment you can say it. For example, if I speak like this, let's say the language is long, you may hear only a few words, right? You may understand some words, but not whole sentences. But if you listen to me repeat the same things over and over again, you start to break it down to every word. But it takes repetitions. The same thing. Then once you get that, you can speak it too. So that's how it is. Expose yourself to it. Use it more. Try to transform your mind to think in that languages. Finally, you study to switch the language.
Thank you.
ဒီမှာယူလိုက်ဒီမှာ
Good morning, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Vanyaman Theoransas. I live in Myanmar and was born in 29 Division in Panong Village. Now, I want to know about teaching method. And there are many teaching methods, and I'm there. what method do you like? Please answer me this question.
Thank you. I try to understand what you mean by teaching methods, but to be very, very simple. There is the principle in Vitaka, I remember, Tamagatika. Everything has to be said, number one, in chronological order. Number two, with reason and example. Two things. Always break it down from the simple to difficult and give example all the times. The difference thing between the West and the East is how people ask questions. You see that when you ask me questions, your questions start with how. How can I teach? How can I practice Buddhism? How can I promote Buddha Sasana? How this, how that. Your questions always start with how. In the West, no. People in the West begin questions with what and why. What is the definitions? Why do we need to know the objective? So, the same thing as in Tamil Sutra. Parisanyu, Bukalapalaparanyu. You have to know the kind of mindset of people before designing the teaching methods. It's not what you teach, it's also how they can learn. If you want to know why, but you tell them how, it's not compatible. So that's why read your audience first. And then finally, you can break it down into simple to difficult and example. And most importantly, give them inspiration to keep continuing. Remember that most important is to demonstrate, walk the talk.
Thank you, Sam, for your answer.
When I have a meditation retreats for international people, for people around the world, on the first day we have a sessions we call Google with Monk. You know what it is? I sit in the round table with the participants, and just like what you do with Google, you ask questions to Monk. So Google with Monk. There was one time I was in Morocco. You know where Morocco is? Morocco? Morocco. You know Morocco? Morocco is a Muslim country in North Africa, northwestern part of the Africa. The participants were mostly from the Middle Eastern regions and North African regions. I gave them 2 hours to ask questions. Anything. Can you guess how many questions they came up with? 70. 70. 70. In 2 hours. That's how much they want to learn.
Can maybe all.
Hello, good evening, Sarah. I know what I plan. What I plan.
Where I come from?
Yeah.
I come from Thailand. I was born in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Go on, please.
What is your ambition? What is your hobby? What time do you meditate? 3 questions.
Thank you. What is my ambitions? Of course, as a Buddhist, my enlightenment. That's simple. It's a long road, but I wish to be there. What are my hobbies? Meditation will be the hobbies. When do I meditate? I love meditating. I usually have a long meditation in the afternoon, from 1 o'clock to 4. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. If that's the questions.
Good afternoon, Venerable. I know Sila, Samadhi, Senya. Sila is a discipline, and Samadhi is stability of the mind, and Vinya is understanding and detail. How do you know Sila, Samadhi better? Please explain us.
Okay, very good. If I drop this on the floor, leave it 10 minutes, there will be many ants, right? Do they have ants coming here? Do they? And when the ants come, what do you do? What happened to all the ants? They move to next life. Correct? If you can't keep it clean, that's already panatipata. So that's why when you say the sila as a discipline, true. Discipline is a big word. Discipline of the body, speech, and mind. They are not the same. So how can you break discipline down to something simple for people to understand? If you need to teach someone who is 5 years old what is discipline, how would you say it? 5 years old, I don't understand about no killing, no stealing. 5 years old, when they see ants and do this, it's fun. Correct? Exactly. But 5 years old, no. If they sleep on the clean bed and dirty bed, it feels different. 5 years old knows if I live in the clean cloth and dirty clothes, I feel different. So that's why when they started to learn at a young age that cleanliness is a good thing, they keep things clean for themselves, they become responsible for themselves, i.e. at the no nato started already. Right? That's discipline. That's sila at the beginning. Until let them to continue meditations more and more. Meditation is all about keeping the mind stand still. That's the whole point. Because our mind don't stand still. You may not have much temptation like I used to 15 years ago. 15 years ago, whenever I sit down in my head, sorry to say to you, there are only images of women in my head. All day long. The only thing I think about. So meditation is about giving all that, so I can stay something called focus. You see, when you say the word samadhi, you understand. I understand. They don't understand. Focus. I understand. Everybody understands. Focus. Focus is when we focus on something at one point. It just depends on what we focus on. What we focus on magnifies. If you focus on your pain, let's say you have a pain here. You focus on your pain is bigger. If you get angry, you focus on your anger is bigger. The same thing if you focus on your peace, your happiness, your compassion, is grow bigger. So focus magnifies, become knowledge, become understanding. That would help you explain it.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, thank millions instead of parents for sharing your knowledge to us. We are always welcome only to share your knowledge to us whenever you visit to Myanmar. Welcome only every time here.
Thank you very much.
My question is as follows. How should we try to keep on and how should we try to minister our Sasana until 500 years in Myanmar and Thailand?
How do you, sorry?
How should we try?
Try?
Yeah, to keep on. And
To keep
five,
on.
yeah, and then 500 years in Myanmar and Thailand.
Thank you, very good. You know that Buddhism in Thailand, in Myanmar, in Sri Lanka, in Cambodia, in China, in Korea, in Taiwan are not the same. When you go to Uposatha, you sit in squat position, right? You sit squat. In Thailand, we sit with our knees. When King Ashoka sent emissary around the world to spread Buddhism, it reached Thailand, it reaches Myanmar. But today, Buddhism in Thailand and Myanmar was not the same as in India in that time of King Ashoka, right? Am I right? Yes. What you read in Tipitaka is the same. But what you practice in the daily life is different based on time and places. My point is that everything, for it to establish into long terms, it has to be culture. That's why you have the Burmese Buddhist culture, the kind of Buddha's image, the kind of ceremonies. But culture, Vattanatham, is being development. It doesn't stop. It keeps evolving. So if you don't understand the sense of why that culture is developed until what it is today, you will not understand how it should develop for future generations. Because when it doesn't develop, it will be outdated. And when it's become outdated, the new generations think, this is not for me. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me. And that's what happened to all religions in the world today. Because they can't evolve culturally. Let me put it this way. If one day, there's an American coming to learn meditations and learn Buddhism from you, and go back to America, would they practice Burmese Buddhism or American Buddhism? American Buddhism. Would it be the same as in Burma? No. Right now, in here, we are sitting sweating. In the same time in America, right now, is snowing. So cold. You don't build the house for cold weather and the hot weather in the same way, right? Just that. Culture is about way of life. So if you want Buddha Sasana in any countries to establish and keep continuing, develop that culture and evolving it until it's still always compatible without losing the essence from the beginning. Because everything that has become our culture, because our ancestors want us to be able to practice Buddhism in daily life. But when things change and we can't evolve, that's when it stops. Let me give you another example. I don't know about Thailand. I don't know about Myanmar, but in Thailand, 50 years ago, people will come to the temple by traditions on the new moon, full moon, and half moon day. Is that the same here? Yes. So because of those days, people come to the temple, it becomes holiday automatically. 50 years ago, the government wanted to be Western. So they changed the calendar from lunar calendar to Gregorian calendars and changed the weekend into Saturday and Sunday. You know what happened? What happened is that most Saturday and Sunday doesn't fall on new moon, full moon, and half moon, which means people don't have day off to come to the temple. And then what? So I don't have time to go on the Buddhist day. So I spend weekend at home. As time goes by, I stop going to the temple at all. You know why Sunday is a holiday? Because it's part of Christianity calendar. The holiday is on Sunday. If you go to Middle East, holiday is on Friday. We want to be like them, but we don't evolve ourselves like them. So that's why when the Dhammakai Temple started, the very first thing we did is to hold activities every Sunday. Because otherwise people can't come. I want to go, but I have to work. So Sunday started that. That's how it's evolved. You gotta have to understand how things change as a society so that you can evolve it to be compatible. Another issues, for example, if you go to Bangkok, I want you to try to go to temples in Bangkok and see for yourself two things. Number one, the entrance will be small. Number two, 0 parking spaces. Because 50, 60 years ago, people in Bangkok traveled by boat. We use canoes. Bangkok used to be called Venice of the East. People use boat. So, after some years, about 160 years ago, the land transportations become more famous. They fill up the canals and make roads. So the entrance of the temple used to be by the canals. Nowadays, it's on the small road and have to make the back entrance become the main entrance today. And because people usually have boat in the canals, they don't have the parking space, the temple is filled. So if you go to the main temple in Thailand, you can't find parking spaces. The entrance is almost impossible to enter. Things change.
Yes, Pai, I want to talk one question. Do you think the Buddha Sasana's saturation is good or bad? It is improving or reducing in time?
Thank you. Good question. I saw declining in the Buddhist country and rising in non-Buddhist country. Because people who are in the West, in the non-Buddhist country, they're interested how they can benefit from the practice day by day. When people in the Buddhist country, they're born with it. So they feel it's just part of the culture, part of the traditions. Yeah, sometimes I'm too lazy, so you don't have to be that strict. So they don't try to get to the essence of the benefits. So in a way, if you make the people in the Buddhist country to have the same interest as in the West, when they're growing interest right now, that you can help people to keeping it up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? So I think that should be a lot of questions. So for the closing part, it's been a great honor to share this with you. And the point is that you don't have to believe me. Just like Buddha said, you don't have to believe me. But most importantly is that I want to really compliment and already to address how important and how blessed your life is to have this opportunity. There will be times when you feel that they have something else more interested for you, but this is really the best. And you can do a lot like that. You can change the world a lot like this. So don't throw them away, and keep your intentions while you're here as a monk. And what can you do to make the country's Buddha Sasana and the world a better place as the Buddha want to see it happen? You reminded yourself every day based on your practice. What the world needs now is role model. One man can change the world. Buddha is one man. He changed the world. You can do that. Thank you. The coffee is good.